Hello to all the listeners of Anything Goes. This is your host Asim, and you are now on third and final episode of Learning Management System. Before going ahead, I would like to tell you little about myself. I am an EdTech professional associated with Next Education India Private Limited since 2010. I love to explore new technology, gadgets, restaurant, food, and I have a special interest in history also. If you find my podcast interesting and informative and you have any idea that could make it more interesting, please write back to me at i@asimabbas.in. Today we will discuss about the features of modern day LMS. There might be a question on your mind that what is the purpose of learning management system? While there are many benefits of using LMS like cost reduction and security, the main purpose of learning management system is to deliver and track learning and e-learning initiatives in one place. How an LMS look and operate will vary depending on the company's objectives, but the LMS feature should simplify the following processes. Number 1, course registration, planning and delivery. Number 2, tracking and analyzing users' data. Number 3, performance-based tasks, for an example, skill gap analysis. Number 4, course administration. Number 5, communication between instructor and the learner. There are many ways to classify a learning management system, but here are the 3 main types of LMS. Number 1, cloud-based or installed. Number 2, open source or proprietary. Number 3, free or commercial. Now we will discuss all types to understand more about it. We are going to discuss cloud-based LMS versus installed LMS solutions. LMS vendors today offering installed solutions are a shrinking piece of a market to the point where none of the major players are really offering this anymore. This can be likely attributed to the fact that installed LMS solution or offline LMS solutions are often considered to be more bulky than the cloud-based solutions. They require users to install LMS program files on the servers with in-house maintenance, meaning a dedicated IT expert with a security knowledge is needed on the client's end. This makes installed LMS solution pricier than the cloud-based counterparts. On the other hand, cloud-based LMS solutions are the modern duplication and carry fewer setup and maintenance costs than the offline solution. Additionally, LMS vendors who provide cloud-based solutions also maintain their software seamlessly, offering updates to their client. And even with these extra features, cloud-based solutions have lower monthly costs and won't typically require a hefty set of fees. Both offline and cloud-based LMS solutions offer open source and closed source instances of an LMS. We will take a look of these root meanings for both of these, starting with open source. Open source software is a type of a computer software in which source code is released under a license in which the copyright holder grants user the rights to study, change, and distribute the software to anyone for any purpose. Open source LMS may be developed in a collaborative public manner. Moodle is a good example of this. Closed source or a proprietary software is a non-free computer software for which the software publisher or any other person retains the intellectual property rights. It may be usually copyright of the source code, but sometimes it may be the patent rights. Next Education's Next Learning platform is one of the example of closed source software or a proprietary software. As I have mentioned that open source LMS may provide users with more freedom to customize. However, that comes with more responsibility and tech knowledge for the institution to maintain and run the open source LMS solution. For schools, colleges and enterprise companies, it is a better option to find an LMS vendor that will do the maintenance and keep up work of LMS. Just like anything else in the tech market, there are free or light versions of LMS solutions. Free versions may be good to explore the technology and learn about it. But for the larger or a professional setup with multiple users, free options are not recommended. In order to get return on investment and to build a better academics or a business case within your organization, it is important to come prepared when sourcing the best LMS vendors. That includes a good understanding of your institution's objective and training goals, and how you can help to achieve them. It is important to find a platform with 12 must-have features. Number 1. LMS integration with other softwares. In an easy language, it is good to have LMS that seamlessly integrate with other softwares. For an example, Next Education's NLP integrate with Zoom, Microsoft Teams and Gmail for video conferencing to the level that it integrates calendar, planning and execution can be done via LMS platform. Even recordings are also available on the same platform. Now, second is data tracking. Now, what do we mean by data tracking? It is the ability for a teacher or a mentor to track the learner's journey via stored data. Helps them to understand better how the courses and the learners are performing, all at the same place. This allows trainers to track and design their learning programs. Furthermore, they have the ability to recognize where learners need to build their skills or where they are excelling, which helps to speed the training process. Now, third is personalized user experience. To encourage wider adoption, a capable LMS should provide content based on the learner's history within the software, as well as their role. For instance, if a learner is a science student, they should be easily able to find more science-related content in the LMS. Now, addition to this, adaptive assessments and quizzes that reflect a learner's performance throughout a course will enable users to prioritize the improvement areas. If LMS is more personalized to a user's learning preferences, it will make learners more invested in the learning process. Now, fourth is offline learning trackers. For roles that require training and assessment in real-world setting, like those that involve manual and technical activities, teaching professionals may find it challenging to explain, track, and store the learning data. For an example, experiments or simulations which are tough to perform in real world can be done through various lab software integration on LMS. Or, in order to bring the offline learning back to online in case of assessments, an LMS should allow trainers to capture offline assessment results. This can be done through offline or a hybrid assessments created on LMS. Now, we will discuss the fifth and important feature, that is automated alerts and notification. Even with the use of a feature-rich learning management system, trainer cannot properly identify a learner's need without proper communication. In order to ensure trainers should be aware of how their learners have been engaging and completing course materials. For this, automated alerts and notification are unnecessary LMS feature. By sending auto alerts to learners about their learning deadlines or notifying trainers on users' completion rate, an LMS can provide a feedback to the right people at the right time. Now, sixth is centralized learning library. An LMS isn't just for e-learning. It should be capable of housing various videos, slides, audios, YouTube links, written instructions, and various other learning materials in a user-friendly, grade or class-wise location. Properly stacked learning materials will also allow users to stay organized and will provide consistency and increasing level of learners' engagement. Having a space for different type of learning materials also give way to blended learning. Seventh required feature for LMS is flexible reporting and analytics. In order to properly gauge effectiveness of your learning program, an LMS should have flexible reporting and analytics that align with your e-learning objectives. Visual representation of learners' data and customizable reports helps trainers or teachers to create better academic programs by seeking out specific pain points to solve for. Or in other words, being able to quickly identify learning patterns and outcomes will allow trainers or teachers to adjust their training programs or course materials. Here there's remote or mobility with LMS. In COVID or post-COVID times, workforces or learners are changing rapidly and popularity in remote working continues to grow. On-site training may be inconvenient or even impossible for companies or institutions with a global presence. An LMS must be remote or mobile ready to ensure learners have access to materials all the time and have the ability to train their talents or students no matter where they are in the world. Ninth important must-have feature is compliance. For many businesses or schools, it's vital to remain compliant with government regulations, corporate policies, or academic guidelines from Central Educational Board. This includes ensuring the right people are trained at the right time and the learners are properly assessed in their understanding and awareness of regulatory requirements. For the protection for the company, the top LMS should be able to track and record training activities as well as provide notification to the management whenever issue arise. Now the 10th important tool is assessment. Although learning management system reports and analytics can help learning professionals to track their learners' engagement, it's important also to engage retention and comprehension. To do so, an LMS should support a wide range of assessment tools like exam engines, simulation, practice tests, formative assessments, and adaptive assessments. In addition to these assessments, an LMS should also allow trainers to provide feedback based on the outcomes of the assessments. 11th is smart scheduling tools. Even before most workforces or schools went fully remote following COVID-19 pandemic, it was difficult to schedule face-to-face sessions that accommodated the entire team. With an LMS that provides a smart scheduling tool, instructor can offer their learners multiple dates and time for their training sessions. Now 12th and the last important feature is security. Regardless of the LMS vendor, there should be data security protocols set up to ensure that your institution's sensitive information is safe. One should be ready to sign the non-disclosure agreement to provide you extra peace of mind. At last, now we will understand how to choose an LMS. There are lots of LMS vendors out there. So making a final decision often requires feedback from multiple stakeholders in the organization. Before bidding on any of the vendor, take a few steps to first establish a value proposition, as I will tell you now. First is identify your learning needs. Speak with your existing staff and leadership within the organization to get an idea of what is lacking and the popular features that individuals are interested in. In order to create a strong business case for your LMS, be sure to compile data from your current programs or LMS that you use and use this information to define necessary data elements in the future LMS. Performing an audit of your internal process can shed some light on critical elements that are missing. Once an audit is complete and feedback has been gathered, you can begin to define the LMS requirements. Any of the must-have features from the gathered feedback are highly recommended. Now you can start compiling a list of best learning management systems. Now we have a goal of creating a list of LMS vendors. You can start by browsing the vendor's website and comparing their capabilities with your LMS requirements. It is also important to make a similar list of features that you don't want in LMS. Ruling vendors out from the list based on that knowledge will help you speed up the evaluation process. And you will get to a list of 2-3 vendors. Now you need to read their reviews from their social media page. Now you have the names of shortlisted vendors. Reach out to the companies and request for a demo of their solutions. Once you have the list of the features and compiled data, present it to the decision makers within your organization, along with a business case. IT professionals of an organization can offer recommendation to help to make a final decision on an LMS. I hope now you would be able to select an LMS of your choice with keeping the points in mind that we have discussed. This is all for now. I hope my podcast was informative. We will meet again with a new topic very soon. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.